Hello everyone, welcome to the new video. In this video, we will discuss about the Linux architecture. We will start with the different components in a Linux system, then role of each component in a Linux system, and then about the file system in a Linux. The Linux system comprises of 5 distinct components. As you can see, the components are user interface, applications, operating system, kernel, and the hardware. The outermost component of the Linux architecture is the UIR, the user interface, which allows users to interact with the system using a keyboard or a mouse or any other input device. The application component includes system daemons, shells, user apps, and tools used to perform tasks in a Linux system. The applications communicate with the operating system to perform tasks. The OS is responsible for jobs that are important for system stability, such as job scheduling and keeping track of time. All Linux operating systems are built on top of the Linux kernel, as you already know, which performs the most important lower level jobs is called the kernel. The kernel is the core component of the operating system and is responsible for managing memory, processing, and the security. The kernel interacts with the hardware component, which includes all the physical or electronic devices in the computer, such as processors, memory modules, input devices, and the storage. The first layer or the top layer in a Linux system is the user interface. The UI allows users to perform tasks by controlling applications with a keyboard or any input device. Desktop versions of Linux include a graphical user interface or GUI layer, which is similar to Microsoft Windows. You might use a Linux machine to use a media player to watch movies or use a web browser to browse the internet and many other tasks. Applications are the software that enables a user to perform a task in a Linux system. When you provide some instruction to computer through the user interface, the instruction will be sent to a piece of code written in some programming language, which is called a software. So this component will contain all the software or applications. Applications can include the following: programming languages, shells, system tools, such as compilers, which are special applications that are often part of the operating system itself. And it also contains the user apps, which can be any kind of applications like browsers, media players, text editors, games, and many other applications. The operating system controls the jobs and programs that are very important to system health and stability. Its functions include: it creates the environment to run applications, detecting errors and implementing measures to prevent complete system failures, and performing file management also. In a Linux system, the operating system is built on top of the Linux kernel, which performs the most vital operations. The kernel is the lowest level software in a Linux system and has complete control of the system. It is the heart of the Linux system. It starts as soon as computer boots and remains in your computer's memory while the system is running. It also acts as a bridge between your apps and your machine hardware, enabling the two to communicate effectively using the system calls. The kernel has 4 key important jobs: memory management, process management, and managing device drivers for proper hardware support, and assuring the system remains secure. The final component in the Linux system is the hardware, which consists of all the physical or electronic devices that make up your computer. This can include the central processing unit or CPU, which is responsible for executing most calculations. The random access memory, we call it as RAM, which is a fast storage unit used to hold the temporary information your applications need to run. Storage for data that needs to persist even when your computer is powered off. Obviously, your computer screen and any USB device such as a keyboard, mouse, or USB drive. Now we'll see how the files and directories are managed in Linux. The Linux file system is a hierarchical system where all files and directories are organized under a root directory, which is represented as \. It is a fundamental component of Linux operating system, managing the storage and organization of your data. The file system is structured as a tree starting with the root directory. The hierarchical structure provides a clear and organized way to manage files and directories. Just for information, file names in Linux are case sensitive, so be careful while naming a file or a directory. Coming to some important directories under root is /bin is the one which contains user binary files. Binary files contains the code your machine reads to run programs and execute commands. Other key directories include /user, which contains user programs, and comes /home, which is your personal working directory where you should store all your personal files, and /boot, which contains your system boot files, the instructions important for system boot up, startup, and very important. And comes to /media, which contains files related to temporary media such as CD or USB drives that are connected to the system. All the files and directories in a Linux system are organized into one of these designated folders that I have mentioned here, and depending on the purpose of the file or directory, and we can create any additional directories if needed for our work or any project. So in this video, we have discussed that a Linux system consists of 5 key components. The user interface is the component that enables the user to interact with applications using control devices. Applications enable users to perform certain tasks within the system. The operating system runs on top of the Linux kernel and is vital for system health and stability. The kernel is the lowest level software and enables applications to interact with your hardware. Hardware includes all the physical or electronic components of your PC. And the Linux file system is a tree-like structure consisting of all directories and files on the Linux system. Okay, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. I will see you in my next video. Thank you.